everyone, and happy Earth Week! My name is Hannah Kasun, and I'm an intern with the UW-Madison Office of Sustainability. I hope you all are doing well, and that you're also following along with all of the exciting informational materials, challenges, and events that our office is putting on this week. Be sure to follow us on social media at SustainUW on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to stay up to date. I'm really excited to be a part of the daily DIY video series that's being produced this week, so let's get started. If you're anything like me, you probably have some old t-shirts, jeans, or other kind of random bits of fabric laying around that you think you'll use one day. And luckily for us, this is that day, because I'm going to show you how to make reusable makeup wipes as well as pot holders from some bits of fabric laying around and some basic sewing skills. So first I'll show you my materials. I'll start with the reusable makeup wipes. Here I have a pair of old jeans. They're pretty worn out, past repair, but a lot of the material is still really great to use. I also have a pair of old pajama pants, which you might be able to see is really ripped up in the waistband and also in a couple other places, but still really nice, soft fabric. You can use a different type of fabric that you have laying around. I'd suggest one that's pretty soft to replace this, and then one that's a little sturdier to replace the jeans. I also have a wide mouth mason jar here with a lid that comes off. If you don't have one of these, you can use a drinking glass with a wide mouth. I also have scissors, Sharpie, and needle and thread, and some pins. I want to start off by saying that if you don't want to sew anything or you don't have sewing materials, you can just take this lid or your drinking glass and then take a soft absorbent fabric. I have some microfiber towels laying around because they came in a really big package, and you can just use this to trace on with your Sharpie a circle, cut it out, and then you're done. For those of you who do have sewing materials and want a little bit of a challenge, we're going to take this lid, and instead of using this towel, we'll use some of the flannel fabric and cut out a circle. Okay, so I've used my lid to cut out a couple circles of the flannel material, and I've also used it to cut out a couple circles of this jean material as well. In the interest of time, I'm not going to show every single step, but I'll just skip ahead a couple times here. So as you can see, I've put one of the jean circles together with one of the flannel circles, and it's very important that you put the wrong sides on the outside. So you can see this is the side you'll want showing, because you're going to sew around the edge and then flip it inside out to leave a nice looking seam on the outside. So I've got the two circles together here, and then I'm just going to pin them together using pins like this, and then putting the sharp points on the inside so you can easily pull them out after sewing. And once I've gotten enough of those around the circumference, I'm going to use my needle and thread, which I have here, and I've tied a little knot on the end to keep it from going through the fabric. And then I'm just going to do a simple running stitch, which looks like this. You just go basically up and down through the fabric. It's kind of easy just to go back and forth here. And you want the stitches to be fairly close together, because that's going to make this seam nice and tight and make it look nice when you flip it inside out. So I'll go ahead and show you this once it's sewn up, and I'm going to leave just about an inch space unsewn so I can flip it inside out. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Okay, so I've sewn around the edge of the two circles here. I'm just pulling out the last couple pins. And you might be able to see, I'm just realizing this is probably really hard to see on video, but I've left this much space on the end, and that way I can just flip the whole thing the opposite direction, like this, and I'm going to use my needle and thread that's still attached to sew up this little bit here, just by folding in the two edges of the fabric so it kind of looks like the rest of the seam does around the edge here. And you can stick a pin in there if it helps just hold things together for you. And some of these go better than others. This is definitely the hardest part for me. But you're gonna use this technique that I learned a long time ago, so I don't actually remember the name for it. But it's kind of like the running stitch, but you just alternate between the two pieces of fabric. So you kind of do one stitch on the flannel fabric, and then one stitch on the jean fabric, going back and forth between the two. And then when you pull it together, it just kind of magically pulls the two together. And the seam looks like the seam around the edge, or the rest of it. And I won't sew all that in front of you right here. Instead, I'll show you a couple that I've already done. This is probably the best example. You can hardly see the thread there, which is what will happen if you do it right. And it's nice and soft on this side, a little bit less soft here for some support. And if you want, you can store your finished wipes in the mason jar that you used to cut them out of, or in some other material, container. A nice thing about a jar is you can even put some homemade makeup remover in there. There's tons of recipes for this online. And when you want to use one, you just take it out, use it to take all your makeup off, and then toss it in the laundry to clean it when you're done. One additional thought here is that if makeup isn't really your thing, or if these kinds of wipes aren't really your thing, you can take something bigger than this circle and cut out a larger circle or rectangle and use the exact same technique, just putting the pieces together, sewing, flipping it inside out, and then filling it with some dried rice or beans, sewing it up, and then you have a nice beanbag that you can use to learn juggling or play cornhole or whatever. We all need a bit of fun during these social distancing times. Okay, so now I want to show you how to make some pot holders. They're a little bit easier than the wipes we made, but using a lot of the same materials. So we have the same jeans we had before, scissors, needle and thread, and then the towels that I had earlier. Like I said, this is a microfiber towel. You can use any kind of towel or rag that you have laying around. It's just going to go on the inside, so it doesn't need to be really pretty or anything like that. First, you're going to take the pants leg of the jeans here and just decide how big that you want your pot holder to be. I have this kind of already cut, so a good size would be about an inch larger than the piece I have here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that. And then my next step is gonna be a lot like the earlier project. I'm gonna turn it inside out and just go ahead and sew up this edge. Okay, so I'm almost done sewing the edge here, and I just wanted to share one little trick that I learned when I learned sewing. To tie off the thread at the end, just stick the needle through and then wrap the thread around 3 times, and when you pull it through, it makes a nice little knot to tie it on there. And then I go ahead and just take one more stitch to just hide the tail of that, and then cut it. So as you can see, I've used, once again, simple running stitch here to sew that end together. And then I'm going to lay my towel on top of the part that I've just sewed. And I found a little trick is just to do a couple stitches connecting the edges of the towel fabric to the jean fabric. I'm not even bothering to tie a knot here just because no one's gonna see this part. It's gonna be totally on the inside. So here is one of them. I'm gonna snip that, and then I'll do the other side as well. And so what that's going to help me out with is when I go ahead and flip it the opposite direction, the towel is already going to be nicely in the edges of this here, and I won't have to worry about flattening it out or anything like that. And you can see I already have an almost completed pot holder here, and I just have to sew up these raw edges. So like with the makeup remover wipes, I'm going to fold in the edges here on each side, and then I'm going to pin them together. So it's a little hard to do all at once, but I'll just show you with one pin. So it goes in here, and it looks as if I'd sewn it. If you put all the pins in, it's going to look a lot nicer like this. And then you can use that same technique as earlier and just sew back and forth, going between the two sides of the material. And then that will make this side, hopefully, look just like this side. All right, I'm going to do that and show you what that looks like in a second. Okay, so I have sewn up that edge like I was going to, and you can see it turned out pretty well. There's a couple spots you can see stitches, but for the most part, it looks a lot like this other side. And the last step I'm doing right now is I took my scissors and I found a nice belt loop, and these are pretty sharp, so I could just cut that right off. And I have started sewing it onto the edge here. I'm just doing the final stitches now. And then, once I have that done, I'll have a nice little loop that I can hang it on. So this is my just about completed pot holder. I'll share some completed pictures when this video gets shared out, so you can see what that looks like in the totally finished version. Again, these are the makeup wipes. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate the chance to just share out some sustainable ideas that I have, as well as some ways to busy your time sustainably during a time of social distancing. So I hope you got something out of this video, and I hope you'll try it at home. A brief disclaimer: I know the lighting changed during this video. I swear it did not take me hours. I just happened to start filming this right as the sun was going down, so if it looks weird, don't worry about it. Again, thanks for watching, and happy Earth Week.
Wish it was easy every day. I'd like that better. Wish you'd forgotten what to say. That's not your kind.